There comes a moment in life when the noise gets too loud. Not just the noise around you, but the noise within you. The expectations, the pressure, the weight of being everything for everyone except yourself. And in that moment, you don't need to fight harder. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to keep running. You need to step away. Yes, step away. Because sometimes the greatest act of strength is not holding on, it's letting go long enough to hear your own soul speak again. We live in a world that celebrates constant motion. Keep going, keep producing, keep showing up. But nobody talks about what happens when you lose yourself in the process. Nobody warns you that you can win everything and still feel empty inside. That's why stepping away is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the moment you silence the crowd so you can finally hear your calling. It is the space where clarity is born, where healing begins, where you remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Sometimes you have to disconnect to reconnect. You have to walk away from what's familiar to rediscover what's authentic. Because if you never pause, you'll keep living a life that looks good on the outside but feels broken on the inside. Stepping away teaches you something powerful. You are not your titles. You are not your roles. You are not the expectations placed upon you. You are deeper than that, stronger than that, more valuable than that. And when you step away, you begin to see clearly what drains you, what feeds you, what's real, and what was never meant for you. You stop chasing validation. You stop settling for less. You stop shrinking to fit into spaces that were never designed for your growth. And when you return, oh, you will return. You don't come back the same. You come back stronger, wiser, clearer. You come back with boundaries, with purpose, with a fire that cannot be dimmed by opinions, because now you know who you are. So don't be afraid to step away. Don't be afraid of the silence. Don't be afraid of the distance, because sometimes the very thing you think you're losing is actually what's saving you. And in that space, you won't just find yourself, you will rediscover your power. Stepping away is not a sign that you are weak. It is not giving up, and it is not running away from your responsibilities. In truth, stepping away is one of the strongest decisions a person can make. It takes courage to pause when everything around you is telling you to keep going. It takes strength to admit that you need a moment to breathe, to think, and to reconnect with yourself. Many people believe that strength means pushing through no matter what. They think being strong means never stopping, never resting, and never showing any sign of struggle. But that kind of thinking can slowly wear you down. When you keep going without a break, you can lose your energy, your peace, and even your sense of who you are. You may still be moving forward, but inside you feel tired, confused, and disconnected. That is why stepping away is so powerful. It allows you to pause and listen to yourself again. When you step away, you give your mind a chance to slow down. You give your heart a chance to heal. You create space between you and the pressure that has been building up inside you. In that space, something important begins to happen. You start to see things more clearly. When you are always busy, it is easy to ignore your feelings. You push them aside because you think you do not have time to deal with them. But those feelings do not disappear. They stay inside you, growing stronger over time. Stepping away gives you the time and space to face those feelings. It helps you understand what you are going through and why you feel the way you do. Stepping away also helps you remember what truly matters. When you are caught up in daily stress, you can lose sight of your purpose. You start doing things just because you have to, not because they bring you joy or meaning. But when you step back, even for a short time, you can look at your life from a different point of view. You begin to ask yourself important questions. Are you happy? Are you at peace? Are you living the life you truly want? This moment of reflection is not a weakness. It is a sign of wisdom. It shows that you care enough about yourself to make sure you are on the right path. It shows that you are not afraid to be honest with yourself, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Sometimes stepping away means taking a break from people, situations, or environments that drain your energy. It might feel difficult at first, especially if you are used to always being there for others. But you cannot give your best to anyone if you are feeling empty inside. Taking time for yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. It allows you to refill your energy so that you can show up as your best self again. Stepping away also teaches you patience. In a world where everything moves fast, we are often in a hurry to fix things and move on. But not everything can be rushed. Some things need time. Healing takes time. Understanding takes time. Growth takes time. When you step away, you allow yourself to go through this process at your own pace. You stop forcing things and you start allowing things to happen naturally. Another powerful thing about stepping away is that it helps you set boundaries. You begin to understand what you can handle and what you cannot. You learn to say no to things that do not serve you. You become more aware of what brings you peace and what takes it away. This awareness helps you make better choices in the future. When you finally return from that space, you are not the same person who stepped away. You come back stronger, calmer, and more focused. You have a better understanding of yourself. You know what you need, and you know what you deserve. You are no longer acting out of pressure or fear. You are moving with purpose and clarity. People may not always understand why you needed to step away. They may think you are slowing down or falling behind. But the truth is, you are doing something much more important. You are taking care of yourself. You are building a stronger foundation within you. And that kind of strength cannot be seen on the outside, but it can be felt in everything you do. In the end, stepping away is not about losing time. It is about gaining yourself. It is about reconnecting with your inner strength and finding your balance again. It is about choosing peace over pressure and clarity over confusion. So do not be afraid to step away when you need to. Trust that it is not a step backward, but a step toward becoming a better, stronger, and more complete version of yourself. Silence has a quiet power that many people do not understand at first. In a world full of noise, distractions, and constant talking, silence can feel uncomfortable. It can even feel strange or empty. But the truth is, silence is not empty at all. It is full of answers, full of truth, and full of the real you waiting to be discovered. Most of the time, people are surrounded by noise. There are voices everywhere, family, friends, social media, work, and society. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has something to say about how you should live your life, what you should do, and who you should be. When you hear all these voices every day, it becomes very easy to lose your own voice. You start to follow what others expect instead of listening to what you truly feel inside. That is why silence is so important. When everything becomes quiet, you finally get a chance to hear yourself. Not the version of you that tries to please others, but the real version of you, the one that feels, thinks, and dreams deeply. Silence removes the pressure of outside voices and gives you space to focus on what is happening within you. At first, silence might feel uncomfortable. You may notice thoughts and emotions that you have been ignoring for a long time. You may feel restless, unsure, or even a little lost. But this is part of the process. Silence brings everything to the surface. It shows you what has been hidden under the noise. And even though that can feel difficult, it is also very important for your growth. When you stay in silence long enough, something begins to change. Your mind starts to slow down. Your thoughts become clearer. You begin to understand yourself in a deeper way. You start to notice what makes you happy and what drains your energy. You begin to see what truly matters to you and what does not. Silence also helps you become more honest with yourself. When there is no noise to distract you, you cannot run away from the truth. You have to face it. You begin to recognize your fears, your doubts, and your desires. You start to see the areas in your life where you are not being true to yourself. This honesty may not always be easy, but it is necessary if you want to grow and become a better version of yourself. In silence, you also reconnect with your inner peace. Life can be stressful and overwhelming. There are so many responsibilities, challenges, and pressures that can take away your sense of calm. But when you step into silence, you give yourself a break from all of that. You allow your mind and body to rest. You give yourself a chance to breathe and simply be. This peaceful space is where clarity is born. It is where you begin to understand your purpose and direction. Instead of feeling confused or lost, you start to feel more grounded and sure of yourself. You begin to trust your own thoughts and feelings instead of always looking for answers from others. Silence also strengthens your connection with yourself. It helps you build a relationship with who you truly are. Just like any relationship, this takes time and attention. When you spend time in silence, You are choosing to be present with yourself. You are showing that you value your own thoughts and emotions. Over time, this builds confidence and self-awareness. Another powerful thing about silence is that it teaches you how to listen, not just to others, but to yourself. In a noisy world, people often speak more than they listen. But silence reminds you that listening is just as important. When you learn to listen to yourself, you become more aware of your needs, your limits, and your strengths. You make better decisions because you are guided by your inner voice, not by outside pressure. Silence can also bring healing. Sometimes you carry pain without even realizing it. You stay busy to avoid dealing with it. But when you enter silence, that pain may come up. It may be uncomfortable, but it is also an opportunity to heal. When you allow yourself to feel and understand your emotions, you begin to release what has been holding you back. This is how true healing begins. As time goes on, silence becomes less uncomfortable and more comforting. It becomes a place where you can return whenever you need clarity or peace. It becomes a safe space where you can be yourself without fear or judgment. You begin to appreciate those quiet moments because you understand their value. When you come out of silence, you are not the same person. You are more aware, more calm, and more connected to who you are. You carry that sense of clarity and peace with you into your daily life. You are less affected by noise and distractions because you know how to return to yourself. In the end, silence reveals your true self because it removes everything that is not truly you. It takes away the noise, the pressure, and the confusion, leaving only your real thoughts, feelings, and identity. It allows you to see yourself clearly and honestly. So do not be afraid of silence. Do not run from it. Embrace it. Spend time in it. Trust that within that quiet space, you will find something powerful, the real you, waiting to be seen, understood, and embraced. You are more than the roles you play and the expectations placed on you. This is something many people forget as they go through life. From a young age, you are given labels. You are told who you are supposed to be. You are expected to act in certain ways, to follow certain paths, and to meet certain standards. Over time, these roles and expectations can begin to define you. You start to believe that they are who you truly are. You may be known as a daughter, a son, a parent, a worker, a friend, or a partner. These roles are important and they are part of your life, but they are not the whole of you. They are only pieces of your identity, not your complete self. When you begin to believe that your worth is only based on how well you perform these roles, you can lose touch with who you really are deep inside. Expectations can come from many places. They can come from your family, your culture, your workplace, and even from yourself. Some expectations are spoken clearly, while others are unspoken but still strongly felt. You may feel pressure to succeed, to be perfect, to always be strong, or to never make mistakes. You may feel like you have to live up to an image that others have created for you. At first, you may try your best to meet all these expectations. You work hard, you try to please others, and you do everything you can to fit into the role that has been given to you. But over time, this can become exhausting. You may start to feel like you are living for others instead of living for yourself. You may feel like no matter what you do, it is never enough. This is where it becomes important to remember that you are more than these roles and expectations. Your value does not come from how well you meet other people's standards. Your worth is not based on how much you achieve or how much you give to others. Your worth comes from who you are as a person. There is a deeper part of you that exists beyond all labels. This part of you is made up of your thoughts, your feelings, your dreams, and your values. It is the part of you that feels joy, that hopes for something better, and that wants to grow and become more. This is your true self, and it deserves to be seen and understood. When you begin to connect with this deeper part of yourself, you start to see things differently. You begin to question the expectations that have been placed on you. You ask yourself if they truly match who you are and what you want in life. You realize that not all expectations are meant for you to carry. It is important to understand that it is okay to step away from expectations that do not align with your true self. This does not mean you are failing or disappointing others. It means you are choosing to live a life that is honest and true to who you are. It means you are respecting yourself enough to follow your own path. Letting go of certain expectations can feel difficult. You may worry about what others will think. You may feel guilty for not meeting their standards. But you have to remember that you cannot live your life based only on other people's opinions. You have one life, and it is important to live it in a way that brings you peace and fulfillment. As you begin to let go of the pressure to fit into certain roles, you create space for growth. You allow yourself to explore new possibilities. You give yourself the freedom to discover what truly makes you happy. You begin to understand your strengths and your passions in a deeper way. You also learn to set boundaries. You understand that it is not your job to meet every expectation placed on you. You learn to say no when something does not feel right. You begin to protect your time, your energy, and your peace. This is not selfish. It is a necessary part of taking care of yourself. Being more than your roles and expectations also means accepting yourself fully. It means understanding that you are allowed to have flaws, to make mistakes, and to grow at your own pace. You do not have to be perfect to be valuable. You do not have to prove your worth to anyone. Over time, as you continue to connect with your true self, you become more confident. You stop seeking constant approval from others. You trust your own decisions. You feel more comfortable being yourself, even if it does not match what others expect from you. When you live in this way, your roles no longer control you. Instead, you bring your true self into every role you play. You become a better parent, a better friend, and a better partner, not because you are trying to meet expectations, but because you are being real and authentic. In the end, understanding that you are more than your roles and expectations is a powerful realization. It frees you from the pressure to be someone you are not. It allows you to live with honesty, confidence, and peace. It reminds you that your life is your own and you have the right to live it in a way that reflects who you truly are. So take a moment to look beyond the roles you play and the expectations you carry. Look within yourself and discover the person you truly are. That person is enough, just as they are. Disconnection often feels uncomfortable at first. It can feel like you are losing something important. You may feel distant, alone, or unsure of what to do next. In a world where staying connected is seen as a good thing, stepping back can feel wrong. But the truth is, disconnection can be one of the most powerful steps you take in your life. It can lead you to a deeper and more meaningful reconnection with yourself, your purpose, and even with others. Many people spend most of their time connected to everything around them. They are connected to their phones, their work, their responsibilities, and the expectations of others. They are always responding, always giving, and always trying to keep up. Over time, this constant connection can become overwhelming. It can drain your energy and make you feel tired, even if you are not doing anything physically difficult. When you are always connected to everything outside of you, you slowly become disconnected from what is inside you. You stop listening to your own thoughts and feelings. You ignore your needs because you are focused on everything else. You may not even notice it at first, but over time, you can start to feel lost. You may feel like you are moving through life without really understanding yourself. This is where disconnection becomes important. It gives you a chance to step back from everything that is pulling your attention away from yourself. It allows you to create space between you and the noise of the outside world. This space is not empty. It is where real understanding begins. When you disconnect, you begin to slow down. You are no longer rushing from one thing to another. You are no longer trying to keep up with everyone else. Instead, you begin to focus on yourself. You start to notice your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions. You begin to understand what you're feeling and why. At first, this can feel uncomfortable. You may realize that you have been ignoring certain feelings for a long time. You may notice stress, sadness, or confusion that you did not want to face before. But this is an important part of the process. Disconnection brings these feelings to the surface so that you can deal with them. It gives you a chance to understand yourself in a deeper way. As you spend more time in this space, something begins to change. You start to reconnect with yourself. You remember what you enjoy, what makes you happy, and what gives your life meaning. You begin to understand your values and what truly matters to you. This kind of reconnection is strong because it comes from within, not from outside influences. Disconnection also helps you see things more clearly. When you are always in the middle of everything, it is hard to see the bigger picture. But when you step away, you gain a new perspective. You can look at your life with fresh eyes. You can see what is working and what is not. You can make better decisions because you are no longer reacting to pressure. You are thinking calmly and clearly. Another important part of disconnection is that it helps you rebuild your energy. Constant connection can be draining, especially when you are always giving your time and attention to others. When you disconnect, you give yourself a chance to rest. You allow your mind and body to recover. This renewed energy helps you feel stronger and more balanced. As you reconnect with yourself, you also begin to improve your connection with others. When you are tired, stressed, and disconnected from yourself, it is hard to build healthy relationships. You may become impatient, distant, or overwhelmed. But when you take time to reconnect with yourself, you bring a better version of yourself into your relationships. You are more present, more understanding, and more genuine. Disconnection also teaches you the importance of balance. It shows you that you do not have to be available all the time. It reminds you that it is okay to take breaks and focus on yourself. You begin to understand that staying connected all the time is not always healthy. What matters is the quality of your connection, not the amount of it. It is important to understand that disconnection does not mean you are cutting people off or avoiding your responsibilities. It simply means you are creating space for yourself. It means you are choosing to take a step back so that you can return stronger and more focused. It is a healthy and necessary part of growth. Over time, you may start to appreciate these moments of disconnection. Instead of fearing them, you begin to see them as opportunities. You understand that every time you step back, you are giving yourself a chance to grow. You are allowing yourself to reset and realign with your true self. When you finally return from this period of disconnection, you are not the same person. You are more aware, more calm, and more connected to who you are. You have a better understanding of your needs and your goals. You are able to handle challenges with more clarity and confidence. In the end, disconnection leads to deeper reconnection because it removes everything that distracts you from yourself. It gives you the space to understand who you are, what you need, and where you are going. It helps you build a stronger relationship with yourself, which then improves every other part of your life. So do not be afraid to disconnect when you need to. Trust that it is not a loss, but a powerful step towards something greater. It is through these quiet moments of stepping back that you find your way forward again, stronger and more connected than before. Clarity does not come from rushing. It does not come from noise, pressure, or constant movement. True clarity comes in stillness, in those quiet moments when everything slows down and you finally have the space to think, feel, and understand. In everyday life, it is easy to become busy all the time. There is always something to do, something to fix, or something to worry about. Your mind keeps moving from one thought to another without stopping. When you live like this for a long time, it becomes difficult to see things clearly. You may feel confused, overwhelmed, or unsure about your decisions. Even simple choices can start to feel heavy. This is because your mind needs rest, just like your body. When your mind is always active, it does not have the chance to process what is happening in your life. It cannot organize your thoughts or help you understand your feelings. Everything becomes mixed together, and this creates confusion. Stillness is the moment when you allow everything to pause. It is when you stop rushing and give yourself time to simply be. You are not trying to fix anything or solve everything at once. You are just allowing yourself to sit with your thoughts and emotions without pressure. At first, stillness can feel uncomfortable. You may not be used to it. You may feel restless or impatient. Your mind may continue to race, and you might feel the urge to go back to being busy. But if you stay in that stillness, even for a short time, something begins to change. Your thoughts start to slow down. The noise in your mind becomes quieter. You begin to notice things that you did not notice before. Ideas become clearer. Feelings become easier to understand. What once felt confusing starts to make more sense. Stillness gives you the chance to step back and look at your life from a different angle. When you are always moving, you are too close to everything. You react quickly without thinking deeply. But in stillness, you create distance. This distance helps you see the bigger picture. You can understand what is really happening instead of just reacting to what you feel in the moment. In stillness, you also begin to understand your emotions better. Sometimes you may feel upset, stressed, or anxious without knowing exactly why. When you take time to be still, you can explore those feelings. You can ask yourself simple questions and listen to the answers that come from within you. This helps you become more aware of your emotional state. Clarity is not just about making decisions. It is also about understanding yourself. When you are still, you reconnect with your inner voice. This voice is often quiet, and it can easily be lost in the noise of everyday life, but it is always there guiding you. In stillness, you can hear it again. This inner voice helps you know what feels right and what is not. It helps you understand your values, your goals, and your desires. It reminds you of what truly matters to you. When you listen to it, you make decisions that are more aligned with who you are. Stillness also brings a sense of peace. When everything around you slows down, your mind and body begin to relax. You feel less pressure and less stress. This calm state allows you to think more clearly. Instead of reacting with fear or worry, you respond with calmness and understanding. In a peaceful state, your mind becomes more focused. You are able to concentrate better. You can see solutions more easily because your thoughts are not crowded. Problems that once seemed difficult may start to feel manageable. You begin to trust your ability to handle challenges. Another important part of stillness is patience. When you slow down, you learn that not everything needs to be rushed. Some answers take time. Some decisions need careful thought. Stillness teaches you to wait, to observe, and to allow things to unfold naturally. This patience leads to better and wiser choices. Stillness also helps you let go of unnecessary thoughts. When your mind is always active, it holds on to many things that do not really matter. Worries, doubts, and negative thoughts can take up a lot of space. But when you are still, you begin to notice these thoughts and slowly release them. This creates more space for clarity and positive thinking. As you practice stillness more often, it becomes easier. You start to appreciate these quiet moments. You begin to understand that you do not always need to be busy to be productive. Sometimes doing less allows you to achieve more because your actions are guided by clarity and purpose. When you return to your daily life after spending time in stillness, you carry that clarity with you. You feel more confident in your decisions. You are less affected by distractions and pressure. You know what you want and why you want it. In the end, clarity comes in stillness because stillness allows you to connect with yourself. It removes the noise, the pressure, and the confusion that often cloud your mind. It gives you the space to think deeply, feel honestly, and understand clearly. So take time to be still, even if it is just for a few minutes each day. Allow yourself to pause, breathe, and reflect. Trust that in that quiet space, you will find the answers you are looking for. Over time, you will begin to see your life with greater clarity, and you will move forward with more confidence and peace. When you take time to step away, to rest, to think, and to reconnect with yourself, something powerful begins to happen inside you. At first, it may feel like you are slowing down or falling behind. You may even question if you are doing the right thing. But what you do not always see right away is that this time is changing you. It is shaping you into someone stronger, calmer, and more aware. And when you finally return, you do not come back the same. You return stronger and more purposeful. Strength does not always come from pushing yourself nonstop. Real strength often comes from knowing when to pause and take care of yourself. During your time away, you give yourself a chance to rest both your mind and your body. You release stress that has been building up over time. You allow yourself to breathe without pressure. This rest is not wasted time. It is what rebuilds your energy and prepares you for what comes next. As you rest, your mind also begins to clear. When you are always busy, your thoughts can become mixed and confusing. You may not know what you truly want or what direction to take. But when you step back, your thoughts begin to settle. You start to understand yourself better. You see your situation more clearly. You begin to realize what matters and what is not. This clarity gives you a new sense of purpose. Purpose is not something you can always find when you are rushing through life. It often reveals itself in quiet moments when you have time to reflect. During your time away, you may begin to ask yourself deeper questions. What do I really want? What makes me feel fulfilled? What kind of life do I want to build? The answers to these questions help guide you. They give you direction. Instead of moving without thinking, you begin to move with intention. Every step you take starts to have meaning. This is what it means to be purposeful. It is not about doing more. It is about doing what truly matters. When you return, you carry this sense of purpose with you. You are no longer just reacting to life. You are making choices based on what you know is right for you. You are more focused because you understand your goals. You are more confident because you trust yourself. Another important change that happens is your mindset. When you step away, you often let go of negative thoughts that were holding you back. You release doubts, fears, and unnecessary pressure. You begin to see yourself in a more positive and honest way. You recognize your strengths and accept your weaknesses. This balanced view of yourself makes you stronger. Strength also shows in how you handle challenges. Before, you may have felt overwhelmed by difficulties. You may have reacted quickly or emotionally. But after taking time for yourself, you learn to respond differently. You become calmer and more patient. You think before you act. You handle problems with a clear mind instead of reacting with stress. You also become stronger in setting boundaries. During your time away, you learn what drains your energy and what supports your well-being. You understand your limits better. When you return, you are more careful about where you give your time and energy. You learn to say no when something does not feel right. This protects your peace and helps you stay focused on what matters. Your relationships can also improve when you return stronger and more purposeful. When you are tired and overwhelmed, it can be hard to connect with others in a meaningful way. But when you have taken time to care for yourself, you bring a better version of yourself into your relationships. You are more present, more patient, and more understanding. People may notice this change in you. They may see that you are calmer, more confident, and more focused. They may not always understand what you went through during your time away. They will feel the difference in how you show up. Returning stronger also means that you are less affected by outside pressure. Before, you may have worried a lot about what others think. You may have tried to meet every expectation. But now you have a clearer understanding of who you are. You trust your own decisions. You are not easily shaken by opinions or judgments. Purpose gives your life direction, and strength gives you the ability to follow that direction. When these two come together, you move forward with confidence. You are not just going through the motions. You are building a life that feels meaningful and true to you. It is important to remember that this process takes time. You may not feel stronger right away. You may not find your purpose instantly. But every moment you spend reconnecting with yourself is helping you grow. Even small steps make a difference. In the end, returning stronger and more purposeful is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming more aware, more balanced, and more true to yourself. It is about understanding what you need and what you want and having the courage to follow that path. So if you ever feel the need to step away, do not be afraid. Trust that you are not losing time. You are building strength. You are gaining clarity. And when you return, you will carry that strength and purpose with you into every part of your life.